Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the RightFax SQL image storage module. This module was released in RightFax 16.2 and allows you to move the RightFax images from a regular Windows file share or SAN or NAS into a SQL database. In SQL, they call that a blob. So SQL has the ability to not only store SQL data, but actual files within a SQL database. And the advantage to that is you get to use all the tools SQL has for replication and high availability to make sure your RightFax system stays up. So as you can see in the diagram here, it really doesn't change any of the flow of the fax, obviously. It still comes from Epic through our integration module. The difference is now as you work your way through the storage, we are now going from RightFax to the encryption module to encrypt the image. And now instead of storing it on a file share, we're storing within the SQL. And this makes it a little easier for replication and a little less complex. So on the next slide here, we'll talk a little bit about the details of it. So first of all, it can reduce the cost and complexity of a RightFax implementation. No separate hard disk is required. And we can use all the high availability tools such as log shipping, availability groups, and always-on failover clustering. Some of these are available in SQL 2012, and especially in SQL 2016 now, you have even more tools to keep your SQL up and running, and in turn, keep your RightFax system up and running. And this is real important when you start dealing with multi-node RightFax servers such as collectives, because if you're making sure your front-end RightFax server is redundant by having multiple front-end application servers, you really need to make sure your back-end database is also up, because without SQL, RightFax will not run. So once you keep your redundant RightFax systems up and running and your back-end SQL up and running, you can really have great high availability. So this feature is great for customers that already have a robust SQL high availability strategy and want to apply that strategy to their fax images.